Hey guys, welcome back to the 501st Com Chat. Obviously, you can see it's our 20th episode today. As always, it's me, Rory, and my good co-host and good friend.
Well, how are we all doing, guys? We finally got our 20th episode. Finally, after a lot of struggles, we're here.
And as you noticed, obviously we've got a nice guest joined. And yeah, so why don't you introduce yourself?
Everyone, I'm the Star Wars guy on TikTok, but in real life, Joe. Nice to be here with you guys. Can't wait to get cracking and start talking.
Pleasure to have you here, man.
Yeah, obviously we spoke before, but obviously again we'll thank you for coming on such short notice. Obviously, as you know, we had loads of personal issues and problems sorted, but we're here now and we're excited to have you on.
Pleasure to be here, gents.
So, as people would know, people who do listen to the podcast, obviously Joe was my Troop of the Week a few weeks back, maybe months back, and obviously he's got an awesome collection, as you'll see on the video. He's got a great collection. So we're gonna just talk to what got him into it and everything. So, Joe, what was the main reason you got into collecting?
I'd have to say The Mandalorian. I'm not sure about you guys, obviously being Star Wars fans as well, but I'll just speak for myself. I kind of fell out of love with Star Wars with the new films that came out. Force Awakens kind of gets a pass. It's not too bad, but after that, it's just ramble. It weren't really for me. Fell out of love with Star Wars, and then seen The Mandalorian, and it was like a spiritual awakening. As you can probably see next to me, for those who see the video, I've got a life-size Grogu. He is the first item I brought, and I was like, okay, cool. He came. It took forever. It was from Sideshow, so it was all the way from America. Came over, and I seen him, and I held him. I was like, I need an R2-D2 to go next to him, because this was just after the finale. Do you know, where obviously Luke comes in and R2, and I was like, yeah, I need an R2-D2. So I brought a little one, like it was about this big, little model, remote control and stuff, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I made a video, and just like the R2-D2, when you say to it, R2-D2 sing, it sings the Cantina song, and it shakes and dances and it plays the music. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So I made a video on it. That was the first time I made a TikTok, and yeah, it just went from there. And then after the little one, I got bored of it, and I was like, I need a big R2-D2 now, like to take videos with next to Grogu. And then brought the R2, and then when the guy came with the R2, he was saying, have you seen this stuff that we make? And he showed me C-3PO. He was like, these are all life size, and I was just like, there's a whole world of this life size models that like it's very niche, not many people know about. So I was like, let me just have to do a bit of research, and then boom, it just escalated to all of this.
I mean,
I was going to say, what would you say apart from what clearly, obviously, Grogu is center, but what would you say you're most fond of in that collection?
It's a hard one because, like, obviously I've got like Black. We was just speaking about this earlier. Black Series, got Funko Pops, life size stuff. For me personally, you can't see it on the screen at the minute because the way it's positioned, but I got a life size K9 from Doctor Who, and the reason why that's my favorite is because when I say it took months and months and months of sitting on eBay, going on Facebook, trying to find one, and I literally was about to give up. I made a TikTok about it, and I literally like just a meme one. Like I put "Hello Darkness, my old friend," and I was sat against the wall with my Mandalorian helmet on, and like had like a bubble, and then put a picture of canines, like as a think bubble. And about 3 hours after I posted that video, I just went on eBay, just like, let me just have a look if there's a canine on there, and boom, there was one there, and it was like, can you ship it? He was like, yeah, and it was only 300 quid. They're usually going for about £1,000. So I was like, fairy godmother, you know what I mean?
that's a good steal.
Yeah, exactly. So because of the steal, because I love the actual character itself, just everything around it, like that makes it my favorite, 100%.
Nice.
I mean, and then obviously going through your collection, how long did it take you to get that collection like all sorted? Like feel like you're satisfied with it? Because we all think, well, we need more.
Yeah, so I did get to a point where I was satisfied, and it's when I brought the TARDIS, as folks can see on the screen. So I brought that, and I was like, right, this is the last thing I'm buying, because what happened was this room we're in now is an extension, and I was buying all this stuff and putting it in the loft, and then I got to a point where, well, when this new room's going to be made, there's not going to be anything to put in. Like, there's not going to be no room. Like, I won't be able to buy anything in the future because I'd used all the space up. So I was satisfied when I brought the TARDIS, and I set up all the glass cases and stuff. But it never lasts long. Like, you always want more. It's so addicting. I mean, you can see over my shoulder the boxes of Lego that are just stacking. I mean, I've cleared through quite a lot. I've got the Pyramid of Giza built. I built the TIE Fighter. Built a couple of other things, but I've still got Hogwarts, Diagon Alley, and the Star Cruiser from the Mandalorian, and I'll buy more. Like it. So to answer your question, you're never really satisfied as a collecting as a whole, but in certain areas you are satisfied. Like I wouldn't buy any more Black Series figures. I'm satisfied with the ones I've got. But that's when you just go and look at some. I don't know how many variations of a character I need to have to just chill out, but
That's a little bit like me now. I've just really gotten into collecting Funkos. I'll go get my two proudest ones in a minute, but you know, I'm again like you. I want to get one variant of a character. You know, they've done so many Darth Vaders. I've got one, and that's all I want. I'm happy with it. I'm not after every version of it, but I'm just so happy with the ones that I've got, and I'm very proud of that. You know. But at the end of the day, I'm still not satisfied. There's still so many more that I want to get. Not just Star Wars ones, but, you know, other ones in general. But it's an addiction. I'll give it that.
I mean, especially like going to, oh yeah, obviously I'm completely different. I love Darth Vader, so I've got about 3 or 4 different ones of him. So, but there's one that's really bugged me. Will knows about it. I actually broke my heart, really. It was like last year. I really want this Anakin Skywalker Funko Pop. I was one from Revenge of the Sith. And probably like 2 months ago, we'd say, Will. Probably more than that. I noticed
I'd say a bit more.
Something was off about my Funko. And it turned out it was fake. And I went through all these TikToks, all these YouTube videos. And I noticed it was a red flag because I didn't really spot it. I was too excited to look at it. But you know, when obviously they got the stand, didn't they? Didn't have one. So I was like, I didn't notice that at all for like a good on year. I was so excited, and my missus, I didn't sleep for that night. I was just so upset. But it's like I one time I bought on eBay and it's gone wrong.
yeah, you've got to be careful because the risks on eBay. To be honest, I prefer Facebook because obviously I'll collect in person. But eBay, I mean, I've been done over a couple of times, but it's just part. It sounds horrible, but it's just part of the experience of collecting.
Exactly. I mean, you got to learn from it so you know what to look out for in the future.
I mean, I will admit as well, something, you know, it actually brought me and Rory a little bit closer because before me and Rory became good friends and doing the podcast, I followed Rory, and I recently had bought myself an Anakin Funko Pop. And because of Rory's video, I was able to be like, oh my god, mine's actually fake. So I was like, great, okay. So, you know, something that brought me and Rory closer together. But I don't know if you can see at the end of the day, I have been able to get my real version of Anakin.
It's cool,
but...
isn't it? It's such a dope pop. Like I was just saying earlier as well, I personally wouldn't buy any more pops just simply because once I start something, it's very difficult for me to stop. Like I've gone too far down the rabbit hole now with Lego, and the most annoying thing about it was I was never ever gonna have Lego in my collection. Like it wasn't even something I even thought about until I got the Walker that you can see in this case. I brought that, and literally after that, I was just like, I need more. And it's just once you start pulling that thread, it's impossible to stop. It's weird.
I just find it funny how like especially when you see a sale, like it's half price, you look at it and you go, I shouldn't, but I'm gonna get it anyway. And then you see another one.
Yeah.
Then you see another one.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like I've been quite lucky in when it comes to Lego Star Wars and anything Star Wars. I started, but I wasn't able to go like jump all the way in. So I got like the X-wing. I've got like the clone tank, the Bad Batch shuttle, but then that's basically it. Apart from that, you know, I've got a couple of like minifigures from the magazines that, you know, are pretty cool. But when it comes to Lego, I'm on the edge of like, if I bought one of those big sets, I wouldn't be able to stop myself. I would keep going.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's the thing as well. Like, I started off with that big set, and then I went to like the little. It's like drugs. Like literally, I started with the big one, the most powerful one in terms of drugs, and then I went to the little ones and the weaker ones, and I was like, it's just not cutting it. So like that's when I went back up to the big sets, and it's just like it's a vicious cycle, especially on the wallet. It's not just that; it's also time demanding. Um, which is kind of nice because that's the other reason why I stepped away from Funko Pops a bit is because you buy it, you put it on your shelf, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, unless you guys are getting them out the box, which I urge people to do. The only reason I haven't done it for mine is because a few of them are signed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that's the only reason I haven't actually taken them out of the box. But it's like with Lego, you get to sit there, even if it is mildly frustrating building the sets. You've done that process of building it, and then like when you've put it on, people come in and go. It's the first thing people notice. I've got a life size Yoda, and they don't even blink an eye at it. They go the Lego. They go, "How long did that take you to build?" That's the first. It's the first question anyone asks. But,
Yeah, I was going to jump onto that question about opening the Funko Pops. For me, I've only opened 3 Funko Pops, and that was the Duel of Fates one. And obviously, Will knows about it. But for me, I don't know why, I just can't bring myself to open some of them look so good in the box. I don't want to touch them. And I don't know why it is. I know loads of people open it, and loads of people do not open it. But for me, I just can't bring myself to do it.
So for me, at the minute in my collection, I've opened them all, but I have 2 that I haven't unopened. One obviously being like my pride and joy, which is like the main jewel in my collection. I was very lucky, like you, on eBay, spending time looking for it. I was very able to get the Captain Rex New York like exclusive,
it's
like,
cool.
and it's in its protective case, and I cannot bring myself to open this because I just know how special it is, and I just look at it every time. But as much as, yeah, I get what you're saying about with Lego, you build it, whereas Funkos, you just put them on the shelf. But for me, because of my Rex, every time I walk in, I look at it and I just smile because I know that it's mine. I'm very lucky enough to own it. The only other one that I don't have opened that I will show you guys, and that's because it's just turned up, and its protective case is still like, I took the plastic off it, and that was I got Darth Revan.
That's cool.
And Darth Revan's one of my favourite Siths, as Rory knows. So Darth Revan's like another one in my collection that just haven't opened yet, and I quite like him in that box because it is so fresh.
No, I get it, 100%. Like, it backs onto every Funko Pop you see behind me, apart from one of them. I brought them all on the first time I brought my first one because I love that many of them, and that's the reason why I was like, I can't keep. If I'm buying 4 or 5 Funko Pops on my first time buying Funko Pops, that's an indicator, like a red flag for me to just walk away. Because I mean, that R2D2 one, if I remember correctly, was like £18 for one. And I was like, Jesus Christ. But it's the same with Lego. I mean, the only thing I struggle with now with Lego is some of the set costing. For example, the price of the Diagon Alley and the Hogwarts, I could buy a life size or like another R2D2, or I could buy a BB-8. So that's where it's hard for me, is because it's not the value of something; it's what I could get for the same value that I struggle with. I'm sure you guys are the same. For example, like, I mean, how much on average would you say you spend on Funko Pops a month? Just roughly.
Well, see, I'm gonna go first, Rory, because I've got a different approach. Because me, at the minute, my approach is I go for vaulted ones because I've got my wish list of everyone that I want. But if you can get the ones that are vaulted, then obviously the value of them will just like go up. So I recently bought a vaulted clone trooper and a vaulted Cyclops, like animated show Cyclops. Now that one was really hard to find. Like, I had to do a lot of digging, but I found it. But again, because they're vaulted, I normally, a month at the minute, last 2 months has been about 40, 50 a month for the last 2 months, just on like special Funkos. Now I don't know what you've been doing, Rory, but
I've actually been quite good these last few months because I'm actually saving up for Disney World, so I can't really spend that money on that because especially my missus, she will kill me. I mean, I used to have loads of Rick and Morty ones. Rick and Morty ones. I got rid of most of them, and then I've got a massive Star Wars collection. And she's seen how much spent. So I think the most I spent on one go was like, I found so many on Facebook. I got a Mace Windu for like 60, 70 quid, and a Count Dooku for 80 quid or something like that. So that was way back, and I thought that they were just gems I've just randomly found. But yeah, like last couple of months, I've been wanting to get so many, but I'm being good. Being good till I get back from Disney World.
Exactly, and that goes back to like my original statement. So imagine you go out for a meal with your partner or family, whoever, and say it's a big meal, and you spend 40, 50, 60 quid. Me personally, I'd look at that and be like, I could have brought this with that money. That's how it gets me. Like, and what I'm about to say next isn't big headed or anything, but I work and I haven't got any kids, so I've got quite a lot of like income that I don't need to save. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys are quite the same. Obviously, apart from the fact that you're, saving up for holidays and stuff. But usually, on a normal weekly basis, I'm not sure about you guys, but there is quite a bit of disposable income, and that's when it's deadly.
Yeah.
Like, I get, for example, like I've got messages on my phone now that I'm waiting for replies back. I've messaged about 9 people the past week for a life-size Dalek. Like, and I literally I can't stop. It's weird, but do you know what? And this is gonna sound weird as well. Like, it's not just for me, but I can remember it happening on my first ever video that went big. I had a couple of people commenting saying, "Do you know what? Because you're over the age of obviously like 18 and stuff, I was always a bit scared to like collect and stuff because I wasn't sure what my friends and things will think." And I said, "I've watched you, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to bite the bullet, and that means more to me than any amount of followers in the world. Like, if I can say I inspired someone to just take that jump, which I'm sure you guys have done. I mean, you've got this platform that you've been like. I listened to a couple of episodes. I think it was about 3 episodes I listened to after you sent me the link to listen to the last one. And I think it's just brilliant. Like, if you can say, I've got these people into collecting, it gives you a buzz, and you can't match it. It's unreal. But I just always warn people. I say, because I'm going to buy a Lego set. I said, I'm warning you. Like, it's very, very addictive. Like, it should come with on the box, instead of a hazard warning for choking, it should say like an addiction warning for buying.
Addiction warning.
Yeah. But yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we've had I'll use some examples, like you said about our podcast, we've got a guy coming on in a couple of weeks. I think it's quite a few weeks, but Clone Trooper Cam, he goes by the name of, and he's just a guy on TikTok who posts videos of him and his Clone Trooper cosplay. And, he sent us a message when I made him Trooper of the Week and gave him the shout out. And he was like, this is one of the best things that's happened to me on TikTok because people are appreciating, what we're doing. Now, we're getting people out there. And that's why Trooper of the Week is so important to us because, we come across guys like yourself, like Cam, like Jonah, who's been on, like Joseph, and we just want to get let the fan base know that there are people out there who have really cool collections, like cosplays, all different stuff, and we love it. Like, I'm loving this podcast. I know Rory is. We've got plans for way in the future.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, 'cause obviously, even if I think if me and Will had one listener, would be grateful if they kept listening every week. Appreciate it, and then obviously you coming on as well is obviously it does feel nice. And obviously, going to my next question now is Joe, when did you feel like when did you feel the time was right to start like a TikTok account, and what was that moment you felt like like you said you're doing something good for someone? Like, what was the first? Can you remember the first message you got when you first started?
I can. It was, if I remember correctly, you guys can't see it because it's literally right next to me, but I was on about 2,000 followers, and I started building the Ewok village on TikTok Live. And I'm not sure if you guys know about Lego like that, but it's quite a rare set.
Yeah,
like, it's not something you would usually scroll through TikTok and see someone building. That live, I probably met around 60% of the people that I talk to now on TikTok, like, and I've done co-lives with. That moment there, I literally had a guy. I'm not going to say his name, because he'd slap me for embarrassing him. He's a creator on here, and I can remember having a conversation with him on Instagram afterwards, and he said it's so cool to see someone just being out in the open, being nerdy, because, and you know, with Lego, it's quite accepted by like a massive amount of people. Like, it's not like cosplaying. I know cosplaying, because I do it myself, you do get a lot of hate. Like, it's a thing. It happens. But with Lego, it's just, I don't know, people just really seem to love it. Like, any age group. But yeah, probably then I just had people message me saying it's absolutely brilliant to see someone, like, because we call ourselves AFOLs, you know, adult fans of Lego. They'd be like, it's brilliant to see AFOLs just openly just building it, just talking to people. That's the moment that did it for me, because to that point, I'll be honest, I've spoken about this a few times. When I first made the account, it was like, oh, this is cool, I like to post this. And I got to about 1,000 followers, and then naturally you get greedy. I was posting for views. Like, I've said this to other TikTokers all the time. I say it's very dangerous when it becomes like this, because it's a strange one. You're not necessarily posting what you want. You're posting what will get views, if that makes sense. So I was doing that for a while, and then I had a conversation with a TikToker when I was talking to him on a live, and he just said it's such a draining thing. If you're trying to chase clout and trying to chase views, you're losing perspective of the whole reason why you've started. So I took about a 2-month break, just didn't post. I just sat back, watched the account, and then I came back and just started posting things that I wanted to. And not at first, but over time, when you let your personality come through rather than the object in the video, that's when the views start to go up. It's like with you guys. If you guys just sat here and just talked about Star Wars facts in a robot voice, you wouldn't get any views. No one would care. It's the fact you guys, you bring your personality to it. You've brought Troop of the Week example, like what you've just said. If you didn't have them type of quirkiness, it would stop like people watching you, because if you're doing the exact same thing that 9,000 other, you know, co-hosts are doing on different podcasts, oh, Star Wars this, Star Wars that, it's not that. Like, it's a hard one. It's you guys that you have to bring your personality to it, which you have, because I've listened to you, you know, you talk and stuff on your things. So it's definitely the best way you guys are doing it. 100%. You're making it very very interactive for your audience, if that makes sense. But
well, we do appreciate that one. Like,
oh, 100%.
but you know, again, how me and Rory became friends in the first place was I followed Rory on TikTok. You know, I'd followed him for quite a while. I'd been watching his Star Wars videos, loved them. And then one day I was really passionate and was like, I want to do a podcast. I needed someone. I don't want to do it by myself. I need people to bounce off. And Rory just happened to put a video up saying he wants to do a podcast. Anyone interested? I messaged him. We got in touch. We got talking, you know, and 20 episodes later, we're still here. We've got our tickets and we've got a place booked for Star Wars celebrations in London, you know. All just because of like a video and a message. A friendship has developed. And, you know, it's not like me and Rory know everything about Star Wars. It's not like I know every single clone troop or every detail about him, or Rory doesn't, or Rory knows everything about the original characters. There's stuff that we don't know, and when we get people on or we come across a topic to talk about that, you know, is completely new to us, we feel that we have like an energy about it. And like the vintage episode that we did a couple of weeks ago, I personally absolutely loved doing that episode and researching it, because I found out so much cool stuff about the old toys and the old figures that you could collect, and the t-shirts that are crew members only, you know.
Yeah, I mean, going back to, obviously, Will, obviously, like you said, Joe, as well. Obviously, I'm actually taking a break from TikTok now because obviously personal issues, and going back to your thing and saying, like, trying to get views for like because trending sounds and stuff like that. So I want to take a break, see what I need to do for next week. I know some of my followers are really supportive, and they've been through me, like Will has, and a few people. So I feel like I just need to refresh my brain, see what I need to do, what I want to do. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of them things. It's so hard when you get to a certain point of your TikTok. You're thinking, well, do I need to stop now, or do I need to just come back, have a little break, refresh yourself, and go back on it? But yeah, I mean, going back to Will, obviously we've had some issues. Obviously, not major issues, just little frustrations from both ends. That luckily we're working out, because obviously 20 episodes down, and if we can't work things out, there's no point of doing the podcast. And I think that's what makes this podcast different from others, shall I say, because most people are just lifetime friends, or they've known each other for so many years. We've known each other for about 6 months, if that.
Yeah.
And
well, me and you sort of became friends like probably about 2 weeks before we did our first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, because obviously we jumped on to see if we were actually compatible. Sounds like we're going on a date, but we have to make sure we're compatible for the podcast. And yeah, and then obviously going to you, Joe. Obviously, you've done incredible things on your TikToks, which is why I made you Troop of the Week. And obviously, you've got a massive following. And then, like I said on the podcast, then you heard it, I will be coming to your house at one point and taking a few stuff for myself.
Honestly, I get that on a daily. Like everyone says that. You guys wouldn't have been saying it a couple of months ago when I did Ewoks here. They are scary at night time. Very, very. Very. I mean, Yoda's scary enough. I'll send you a couple of videos after this live. This is completely off topic, whether you believe in it or not. I personally don't, but it is what it is. We live in a 300-year-old cottage. Okay. And to cut a long story short, I was on live building a Lego set, and I had an Ewok next to me. And as I'm on live, it fell. That ain't the important thing. Like, it could just fell by the wind or anything. But as it fell, a follower pointed out to me. He went, "Save the live, go back and listen to the noise it just made when it fell." And I was like, okay, cool. So I did it, and it was like a whisper. It was just like a... Like, so it was like Harry Potter does, when he's speaking to the snake. Bearing in mind, right, there was no voice box or anything inside it, and ever since then I just sold it like that. But it's weird. I've owned about 8 or 9 Ewoks now, because it's just like a little tip as well for anyone who wanted to get into collecting. I don't just do it like to flip money, but it's pretty cool. So with Ewoks at the minute, they're on eBay for about £280. On Facebook, there'll be people popping it up for like £100, £115. I just keep buying them, enjoying them for a couple of weeks, and then selling them for like £100 and something pound profit every time. Like, and what's pretty cool is like a running meme on my TikTok. So I'll get one and I'll post a video like it's back, and then my followers will like lose their mind because the Ewoks are back or whatever. And then a good friend of mine, Opie, a creator on TikTok, he absolutely hates Ewoks. He's got like a real horrible like vengeance against them. So it's just brilliant. I just tag him in it every time. But yeah, it is cool. But back to what you guys just said about how you like exploring possible things, like you got your vintage, stuff like that. This is what I was referring to earlier. If you scripted your stuff and just did like the same thing every week, it gets boring. I'll be honest. Like, if you guys just asked me to come on here and wanted me to talk about the exact same thing you talked with your last co-host, I'd have probably just said no, because there's no room for you guys to grow. But genuinely, I just sat down, and the TV behind me that you can see, I just put your guys' thing on there and just listened to it for a bit while I was just chilling. Like I said, I think I cleared about 3 episodes, and that's why I was just like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to go on. These guys are awesome, you know what I mean? This isn't big-headed or anything. What I'm going to say is I've been offered by quite a few people to go on to different things throughout the past, and some of them I've just had to say no. Nothing personal or anything. It's just the type of content they're putting out it's not for me. But with the way you guys are like structuring your podcast and stuff, it's going to be one of them stories, I think, in a couple of years' times, where you guys will make a video on like thousands of followers saying, "Oh yeah, we met through like a fake Funko Pop." Do you know them type of videos you see? Like a reflection video. Yeah. I can see it like in the future. But back to what you said a minute ago about whether you should carry on with TikTok or not. My opinion is, it took 6 months, I think it was 6 or 7 months for me to get my first viral video. And if I'd have stopped when I wanted to stop originally, not just for the the followers and stuff or friends that I've made, it's just like if I'd have stopped for me personally, I think I'd have been fuming. Because if you chase something till you've exhausted all the options on it, and then if you walk away, you're not going to feel like that. It's stupid, but one day you'll see a video of someone, and you'll be thinking that could have been me if I'd have just carried on posting. Whereas if you do everything to the max and you exhaust all options and it doesn't work, you can walk away and just be like, yeah, okay, it could have been me, but I tried it didn't work. There's nothing worse than not doing something because you couldn't be bothered. You know what I mean? Without getting too deep and sentimental. But I think you guys, honestly, if you crack on with it and maybe just when you're making videos like vintage ones, go onto Facebook, join vintage groups, and post the link into them. And then, example for me with the life size stuff, I made a YouTube video. I'm in quite a lot of Facebook groups for life size stuff. Made a video. The first thing I'm doing is sending it to people that's a direct target audience that are good. There's no point. See, with TikTok, you post a TikTok, a 40-year-old woman who lives in America could see my video and she's gone, "What is this?" and just swipes.
Yeah.
Whereas if see with the podcast, it's beautiful because you share that link, it's going to your direct target audience, and you're going to want to connect to the people that are watching your stuff. You don't want people just to be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," swipe. You want someone who's going to be like, "These guys have talked about vintage. What else are they going to talk about next?" That's how you guys will progress. Trust me.
And yeah, like you just said, branching out, we are certainly trying that. If you look at, I'm going to go through quickly, like all the countries now that listen to our podcast. We've got obviously, the UK, we've got the States. We're quite big over there with you guys listening. We've got Australia, Canada, Germany, Iceland, Denmark, Netherlands, Norway, Ireland, Spain, France, Sweden, Greece. I don't know about Rory, but I don't have any connection to these places. I don't know someone in Sweden and said, "Oh, listen to the podcast." It is somehow reached that just from people listening and sharing. And I say it to Rory every time that I see like a new country like has listened to us. I smile and I see it as a big deal because I just want people to enjoy what we talk about. And because the Star Wars fan base has its toxic fans. That is without a doubt. We cannot deny that. That's the truth. But there is so many good content creators and fans out there that we feel like would enjoy our content and other people's. So we just want to get ourselves out there.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Obviously getting some advice from you, Joe. That's obviously opened our horizons a little bit more. Obviously, like going on Facebook groups, even it's probably worth starting our own little Facebook group, getting people who do have Facebook, who follow us, get on that group, and like just expanding. Obviously, we do have one quite excited listener. He always listens. Will made him Troop of the Week last week, and he's always excited. Yeah. He's always excited on Twitter. He always reacts to us and everything. So it's like that one person is good enough for me and Will to do, and I'm sure the same as you. Is that one person keeps following you, keeps liking your videos, keeps talking to you. You're doing something right. And going back to me, obviously with this break, I'm looking at stuff, what I can do, what my page is meant to be, what do I need to do to make it more interesting, keep me interested in it. Because obviously, like I think we've all had it. We had a little burnout on TikTok, and you just want to, like I said in the past, refresh it and everything. So, and I think that's the thing. I don't want it just to be some. Obviously, you see all these viral TikTokers who are just doing it for clout now because they've got the following, and then sounds bad, but some people are. Like, also, we all got kids following our page and everything, but when a certain amount of kids like a certain thing, even going to Carly D'Amelio. She does the same thing over and over again, just a different song. And then she's got... I don't want to be that kind of person who's just basically using their followers.
Exactly. Like, that is that is the main thing that I said this to you earlier. People need to get this misconception out that people, it's weird, they call themselves content creators. They're not content creators, they're money creators. They're only making things for money. I'll be honest, I'm in the TikTok Creator Fund, and obviously I've got live gifts from TikTok. Not once have I ever asked for money. I wouldn't say, oh, do this, like all this. You know what I mean? It's not for me. But as I said to you earlier, I haven't got a problem with anyone running their content how they want. Same with collecting, as earlier as I said about opening, closing, like your Funkos and stuff. I can't sit here and say, no, you can't do that. Like, it's personal preference, you know what I mean? That's when toxicity starts.
Yeah.
When someone thinks their opinion is correct, that's when toxicity starts, because an opinion is an opinion, it's not a fact.
Yeah.
Me personally, I build all the Lego I have, even the rare stuff. I can't leave it in the box, but if I seen someone leaving it in the box, I wouldn't go out my way to attack them. I'd just say, okay, cool. Like, I understand why you do it. It's just not my personal preference. But yeah, 100%. It's people need to get that out of their head. It's not money making. A content creator is in the title. You're creating content, and hopefully, it's going to not land on deaf ears. It's going to land on ears of people that are actually wanting to hear it. That's the gamble. That literally, you know what I mean. I know. Yeah. I'll happily admit, I know people that are way better than me, like content creation wise, and they've got less followers than me. Like, and it eats you up. Honestly, I know people that are on like 4,000, 5,000 followers, and their content wipes mine like easily. And on the flip side, like, well, you just said there's people out there who's got millions of followers that just don't deserve it. Like, that's life, isn't it? It's not fair.
Yeah. No, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's but again, I originally had the plan that when I got to 10k, I was just going to quit, because every goal I wanted to achieve on TikTok I'd already done. There was like 4 or 5 creators that I wanted to become friends with, and I did it. And I've done every goal I've set for TikTok, I've completed. So now I'm enjoying it even more. There isn't any goals. Like, I go 4 days without posting now, and I don't even bat an eyelid. Whereas before, if I couldn't work out a video idea, I'd get myself worked up. Like, it's strange, but again, that's when you think about it, right? You're creating content for people that wants to see it and listen, and once you've got that in your head, you won't fail, because if you get 10 likes, as long as your goal was to entertain someone listening or watching, you should be fulfilled, because you've done exactly what you wanted to do.
I think you said it better than anyone could, really. Like, because obviously you're humble on what you do. You're just who you are, and like you said, going back to earlier when you said about your personality, I think the whole point of your content is to be your personality. If you're pretending to be someone you're not, then who are you really failing? Yourself at the end of the day. And then obviously, look, like you said, you've set yourself goals, and that because you've achieved them now, you don't really need to set yourself any goals now. You're just enjoying what you do now.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not sure about you guys. I mean, obviously the 20th episode is quite a big thing, but obviously you guys have got big plans, so you guys will have goals. But what you got to make sure is that the followers or fans or friends, depending on what capacity you know them in, doesn't get pushed to the side to achieve them goals. Like, for example, when I was on live with a biggish TikTok creator, my friends were all messaging like, oh, can you introduce me to them and stuff. Was a split decision. If I'd have turned around and gone no, and had just gone on that path, I wouldn't have any of the followers I've got now. Whereas I introduced them all. I said, yeah, you guys meet this guy. Like, people who have like 40 followers, they don't even post TikTok. They just want to watch it, but they just want to meet these people. I'm like, yeah, of course, no problem. Let's get it sorted. But yeah, that's my main advice. Set goals, because goals are good, but just make sure that your followers, the real followers that are listening day in, day out, do not get pushed to the side just simply because you want to achieve them goals.
Yeah,
it's a very common thing.
I mean, the main thing to say that is like, it's that old saying: don't forget where you come from, and don't forget who was with you at the start until the finish.
Exactly, 100%. Like, imagine if you guys, like, overnight now got 100,000 followers, and then you just decided to go separate ways and forget about each other. it would, and you wouldn't be able to replicate the stuff you guys do solo, because it's a duo act. I mean, you'd be able to replicate it in some capacity, but you wouldn't be able to replicate it in, like, without sounding cringy. Certain content creators, they have magic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You want to listen to the. I could pick up my phone now, type in Star Wars, and there'd be a million content creators on there. There's probably about 50 that I'd actually want to listen to and watch. So again, with TikTok, at the minute, it seems to be more quantity than quality. But then when you do have, there's another guy who's just absolutely blown up recently, and I can remember him starting off, Henry Calvert. I'm not sure if you guys know him.
That rings a bell, to be fair. I might have scrolled
He
past.
is absolutely blown up, and do you know what? From my speakings with him, and what he's one of the most genuine, nicest guys you can ever meet. I met him when he was like coming up on like 7K followers, 10K followers. He did like a YouTube show at last Christmas with me and a couple of YouTubers and TikTokers, and he's on about 230,000 followers now. And not once did he change his content. He was just himself. And he's such a lovely guy. And people be like, "Oh, but is he just like that for TikTok?" Well, from every dealing I've ever had with him or anyone I speak to, he's just one of the most nicest people you can meet, and funny. So back to that old like thing, your personality needs to shine, because I can point a camera at these guys all day long, and yeah, they might get a couple of views, but you need to make jokes, and and the main one I always say to new creators: don't be afraid to rebrand as well. Like, I started just posting life-size stuff, then I went to Lego TikTok, then I went to cosplay, started enjoying that. Then I changed my content and started doing edits, so editing Star Wars, editing Doctor Who. Two of them edits have got amassed over almost 2 million views. And it's something that at the start of the TikTok, I said, I'm never doing it. I'm not doing it. It's not for me. Then I evolved. I loved it. Loved doing it. Now I don't. So I've stopped doing it. That's the main thing. If you guys ever hit a point, don't be afraid to rebrand, as long as you keep it. Because at the end of the day, if you guys get big, you're not getting big on your content. You're getting big on the way you're delivering the content. Because I guarantee, this isn't going to sound rude or anything, I guarantee you there's about 1 million people in this world that's delivering better content than me and you two put together. But their personalities, they just haven't got any at all. So that's the main thing. You guys just let your personality shine through, and you'll get there. But if you suppress your personality, you won't get there, because back to what you said, if you hide who you truly are, you're only doing yourself out. You're not doing anyone else out. But that's my advice for you guys. It's because
it's good advice.
Yeah,
we're taking it on board, mate. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I know we've gone off the Star Wars stuff, but I'm sure the creators will. The followers and the listeners will appreciate this. To the people listening now, you need to go appreciate how much work these two guys are going to be putting in. Because I can remember being at the start, you never put as much energy into your creating than as you do at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know you guys have hit 20, but it's, in terms of podcast, that's still the start.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the amount of work that you guys are going to be producing, it's going to be fun, and I'll definitely be watching 100%, keeping one tab on it. But the followers should be excited, and the listeners. Let's put it that way.
Well, another thing that is not overly well known to the people who listen, but the people that me and Rory get to help us out, are people that we trust. So we've got a guy like my friend, for example. He's the one who helps us to finalize our special podcast cover ups. So he did our 10th, 15th, no, was it 15th? Yeah, 10th, 15th, and 20th podcast cover up, and it's just a mate of mine who I've said to him that, I'll get him a beer down the pub for doing this. We've got someone who I know who is working on a poster for the podcast. We're looking at people that are similar into what we want in terms of interest, and people that listen to the show,
Yeah.
We are involving them behind the scenes to help us grow. You know, I've spoken to Rory multiple times about, you know, we want to get into doing some just like simple T-shirts and stuff like this. You know, like I'm on the 501st podcast or something.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
something very
100%.
simple. But we're looking at people. We're not just looking at generic people and being like, "Can you do this for us?" We're looking at people who are close to us, connected to us, and have an interest in what we're doing. You know, so we're keeping our fan base quite local to the people who help us out behind the scenes.
100%. I'm in a Discord chat with it's specifically for you at the minute anyway, just for UK Lego TikTokers or just UK nerdy TikTokers. I mean, I'll add you guys to it and just start putting the feelers out, you know, so you can meet some of the other folks and just like introduce you and stuff, because it's surprising that how many people out there are like us.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm making it sound like we're like a rare species of something, you know what I mean? Like a dodo bird or something. But no, it's sometimes when this type of stuff, you can feel isolated. I mean, when I first went going live on TikTok, I think I averaged about 2 views. And then, admittedly, it's a bit slower now after I took the break. But before I took the break, it was like 10, 11 people. And it doesn't sound like massive, but do you know when there's 10, 11 people continuously talking? And it's just magic. Honestly, like, you guys will do it. There'll be an episode at some point that will just absolutely skyrocket. And you'll just be sat there and you'll just be like, and you'll be listening to the episode yourselves. And you'll just be like, that video that got like God knows how many views. I must have watched that edit about 1 million times. It says like the average watch time was ridiculous and 90% of it was me. Because you're just like, I've made some. Honestly, it's such a weird thing. It's like, do you know the appreciation of others for your hard work?
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't explain it. There's no feeling like it. And it's like now, especially at the start, when you get them views at that start, the feeling, it never leaves you. Even now, like, I had like 3 videos in a row that went viral, and even after like a year, 2 years on TikTok, I still get that feeling. Like that I can't explain it. It's like that giddy feeling. You're checking the comments every 3 seconds because like people are just commenting and you're like, whoa. But even if you don't get that feeling, you don't get the following, like, it doesn't matter. As long as the people that have watched the video have enjoyed it, it's all that matters. But you know, it's with your guys' content, it's a bit hard to be controversial. But with mine, it's very, very easy. Like, I can just post all sorts. I can be like, well, this Lego set's rubbish, and then like I'll spark like a massive feud. And as people say, nothing sells like arguments. Like, if you can cause an argument in one of your like videos, like the comments are just ridiculous. People do it all the time. They'll do like a stupid video like Darth Vader versus Rey. And you're just like, well, you know why you've made this video is because the amount of traction, and it works. I'm not saying it's like ethically correct to do it, but at the end of the day, if a content creator sees that and it works, crack on. Me personally, I wouldn't be doing it, because if you're filling your comment section with toxicity, people are just going to be following your account for toxicity.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a cesspool, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's a bit hard for you guys to be controversial. I think there's not much you could say, to be fair.
I mean, I will say, I don't know about Rory in terms of like experience like a viral video. I'm sure Rory has, but for me, I did recently experience it on like my personal channel. You know, I created a edit. You know, Eddie playing the guitar in Stranger Things and said Master of Puppets should be #1 if Kate Bush running up the hill can be, you know. And I put it, and I did it one night, and I just did it, and then, you know, the next day I'm on 17,000 likes. I've had over 200,000 views, and my intention wasn't that. I was just like, oh, let's just do something. But like you said, my phone was just blowing up. I was constantly looking at likes. I was constantly looking at the comments of people being like, yeah, this is so cool. Yeah, let's do it. And like, I was just like, what on earth is going on here? You know? So when you do experience that, even for me, like, I'll probably never experience something like that again. And I'm happy with that. You know, I've experienced what it's like for one video to just blow up. And yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that we put on our podcast, TikTok, obviously is a little bit more niche to the Star Wars and a little bit more silly, but you know, it's just a nice feeling, and I'm
100%.
sure the podcast is going to get there.
Oh yeah, 100. I mean, you guys will definitely 100% do it. I mean, it's just again, it's just about connecting with the audience. For example, if you guys had said, I'm going to bring a Star Wars creator on, and then I just started talking about Marvel, it would have been very, very weird for the listeners. But because it's not like I'm not trying to expose your secrets or anything, but this is like to the followers that are listening now. These guys clearly have a bit of integrity, because before I came on, they asked me some questions. And if you wanted someone on, no matter how many followers, say just because they've got big followers, you wouldn't ask questions for them to come on. You just say, "Yeah, come on, get on ASAP." So this is just to the followers, like directly. These guys clearly have a bit of integrity about them, because they were questioning me, which I actually loved, because no one does it. Like, it's weird. Like, no one asks questions to come on. They see like, I'm not saying I've got a massive following, but I've got a pretty good one thanks to all my friends and like followers. But some people, they just see it and be like, "Whoa, this guy's got this. Let's get him on." And they're just because they know what you're gonna bring. Like, if that makes sense. Like the exposure for you guys, and it's like, to be asked questions. It's refreshing, because it shows integrity, rather than the first chance you get to sell like your soul to get, like, does that make sense?
Yeah. I know it's sounded it's not sounding right, but it is
you know
right.
what I mean. You know what I mean. Like, you guys have got integrity, because you're not jumping at any chance you can get just to get someone on, if that makes sense. So that's I just thought I'd let the followers know that, because there's nothing better than a content creator with integrity and not just willing to chuck the content down the river just so they can get a bit of clout.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing as well. Obviously, when I did put you in my Troop of the Week, I didn't even notice how many followers you had. I just like that video, and then I looked at it and I was like, okay, he's got a bit of following. Like, it may be worth getting him in if he's interested in it. Because if it's not, like you said earlier, like, you're not going to go on something you're not going to be interested in. And obviously, we've gone off topic a little bit, but we still talked about Star Wars. Obviously, we expand. That's what we like to do, especially with our guest hosts. We don't want to stick to a script, because then we like to make it nice and relaxed. And this is literally three nerds talking about all the stuff in their lives. So, and
and each guest, in fairness, has been like completely different. We had Jonah come on, and we it was like coming up towards Kenobi, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we were able to talk to him about Kenobi, and he was also a big fan of the sequels, which to a lot of people is controversial. I know. A lot of people don't agree with his views, but he had a really positive view. So it was nice having him on as something different. And then when, obviously, I know Rory wasn't available, when Joseph came on with me, we were able to sort of talk about Andor, and I was to get like future projects with him. It was something completely different. With you, we've had such like an easy, chilled conversation about your collection, about how you sort of got big. And this is the thing, we just want different people, and we want to just enjoy ourselves. Right now I'm having fun just having a chat with two guys about nerdy stuff.
And it helps, like, because I can do it from an outside perspective. It lets your fans and your followers like see the work you guys are putting in, because to them, some of them anyway, not to insult anyone, they'll like log in and just think it's just two guys just talking about stuff, and it takes them 2 minutes to do. It doesn't. So it's just nice for them to be able to get a bit of feedback. Like, I can see how much work you guys are putting in to make sure that in all them countries you listed off, whoever listens to it, it's good content. It's not, we need to get this out now because we just want the views and stuff. So it just gives the followers some insight to how hard you guys are going to be working to get the best quality out, for like content quality out for them.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we appreciate everyone who listens anyway. And then even in my Twitter account, I do receive not quite nice messages, and I will be meeting some of them at Star Wars Celebration, because they're going to be there. Cool. So it's going to be nice to. It sounds silly. I'm famous, shall we say, to some people. They watch me, so they might want a photo and stuff like that. It sounds silly, but it'll feel nice.
Brilliant.
You know, it's just something like that. Like I'm obviously not famous, but like to that person, they watch me every day, and same with you, Joe, and same with Will. People look up to us in a way. It sounds silly, but they do. And getting
Yeah,
someone
100%.
get someone to even like say have a photo or anything, it'll be a nice feeling. Are you going to
This is when Rory realizes everyone that wants a photo with him at Star Wars Celebration is just me.
yeah, I'll take that. I'll still charge, you know.
Oh, what? No way.
Are you going Star Wars Celebration, Joe, by any chance, or?
Oh, it was gut wrenching this. So I got a friend on TikTok. He's called Harvey Walker, and we're just having a talk about it, like Star Wars Celebration. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going. Like I was 100% going. And as I told you earlier, my shifts at work. So I think the sale started at 5, was it?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't finish work till 8 o'clock.
Oh no.
So I,
Oh.
I physically couldn't like buy it. So when the only ones that were left were like a day pass, and I was like, without sounding ignorant or anything, if I'm gonna do it, I was doing it properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, all my friends, they booked hotels. They're gonna be like Weatherspoon and stuff. There's no way I'm just going up for a day and then leaving. Like I'm not gonna do it to myself because it'd just be heartbreaking.
Like, see ya. I'm going home now.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was like, I have the first day, and then like the next day, they're like, "Oh yeah, you coming?" I was like, "No, I'm going home." I'm sat on the train watching their TikToks while they're like in cosplay. I was like, "Nah, I'm not doing it to myself."
Yeah, me and Rory had quite a fun experience. So we came on and we were having a video chat about 4 o'clock before tickets. And we were just sort of sat there. We were on our phones. We were watching TV, but we were just chatting. We were like, right, well, let's get them. And then I refreshed the page and then I was like, oh, Rory, do it. And he was literally like 10 seconds after me.
Mm.
And then when it came into the queue, it was like, you're 6 minutes in the queue. I was like, okay. Rory was like over an hour. I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm going to get it.
Seriously?
Rory's not. And he was like really panicking. I was like, it's going to be fine. We're going to get it. You're going to be there, me and you. And then obviously I was just like, yeah, I'm buying my tickets. I'm getting the 4-day. I will book the holiday and I will be there every day because this is something probably going to be a once in a lifetime for me, you know.
100%.
So-
Like, and it's an experience, like for you guys, like to be out and actually maybe making content for TikTok out in the wild, as we call it. There's no better. At first, you feel like an absolute idiot. Like I used to go around the nerd shops and record, and the first couple of times I'd be like that with my phone,
Yeah.
like hiding it. But now I'm like loud and proud, if that makes sense. I was walking around the convention I was at the other week, so the other month, my camera was like that. I was taking photos with like the life-size TARDIS. I don't. You lose all that shyness.
Yeah.
Like 100%, you need to take advantage at this thing, not just for you to enjoy, but for people that aren't going to be able to be there. Like I'll be watching my friends' streams, silently hating on them, of course, but I'll still be watching nevertheless. And it just gives, again, it's interactive. It will like, and then it gives you something to talk about maybe on another podcast. Just go back into detail to speak to your followers, like again the countries you've lifted off. I don't think everyone from them countries are going to be able to fly in and
Exactly.
so that's the best thing about it. It's just experiences. But yeah, it's gut wrenching because I'd have worn me I've got a Mandalorian cosplay. I'd have wore that, but I'm gonna have to substitute. I brought a mannequin 2 days ago. It's gonna go where that Lego is that's stacked. I'm gonna have Mando in his like a cosplay on this mannequin, and Grogu at the bottom on his feet. And I got the pulse rifle and everything, so I'm just gonna go full. And then I got a Cyberman cosplay I'm putting on a mannequin, and I got my Batman one that I wear, so that will go on. I was trying to find a Robin one. Problem with the Robin like cosplays is he has the old ones. They only do the eye bit, so like it looked a bit weird because you'd see the whole mannequin face and just like the eye bit. Whereas his Mando, it's fully covered. You know what I mean? Because even has like the balaclava at the bottom that hides the neck. Batman, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put like like Black Noir in The Boys.
Yeah.
I'm going to do like the black balaclava thing with just the cowl on, so you won't be able to see the mannequin. Because that's what I used to do when I first started. That's what helped me get off on TikTok as well, like booming off. I made some life-size stuff on mannequins and sold them. So I did a Tusken Raider from scratch, like literally like the boots. I even like it was a weird process. You got like strips of it's hard to explain. Like strips of crappy stuff you find at like charity shops. You dip it in coffee, and then you rinse it out, and it stains it. I'm not sure if you guys ever did it in school. Do you know when you tried to make paper look?
Oh,
Yeah. So you do that
yeah.
with like this material, and you wrap it around the boot, and it looks like sand. And then I built this whole thing, and then I did some wiring. So whenever you pressed the buttons on the hand, it had a little speaker in the back. So when you pressed it, it did like the Tusken Raider sound effects. And obviously everyone on TikTok was like, "Whoa, like that's pretty cool," because it's not something you'd usually see on your like For You page. So I did that, and then ever since then, that's when I got into like cosplaying, because I was like, I like putting the stuff on the actual mannequins, but I thought, well, why don't I just wear some of them myself? The problem is I'm quite tall, so to get some of the cosplays that I wanted, it just didn't look right, if that makes sense. Because I was going to do like I love this one. There's no way I can do it, but I always wanted to do like a Jawa, because you can buy these massive orange like glowing eyes. But I'm just too tall. I couldn't.
I'm just gonna say, Joe, careful. Just be careful what you're saying. Rory's got a thing about Jawas. He wants to kick everyone he sees. So.
And the funny thing is, I'm probably small enough to be a Jawa as well.
I've got one sat right next to me, actually.
Let's see it. We want to see this if we can. Rory, calm down, all right? Stay calm.
His eyes have died, like the batteries.
Wow.
I need to get some, and he's holding Jabba the Hutt's son, and he talks. Wait, I'll put him right near the microphone. He can do like a little.
Here we go. We got a Jawa as our guest.
Just stop speaking. Yeah, that.
No.
He's going like Woodini. But yeah, I need to get it sorted, lads, because I've got like what I've done is I've pulled the cable in out the back that connects to the battery pack.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I've got to connect it back up, but I'm just too clumsy. Like everything in this room you see, it's either been knocked or hit or kicked or whatever. Like it's definitely a tough love being in my collection. But that's why I like these guys, because the latex, you can't really damage it, if that makes sense. But people find this one freaky. They don't like Jabba the Hutt's son. But yeah, I'm sure you guys have watched the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something I'd probably use to scare my missus. I'll get out of the bed and just put it next to her.
Yeah, honestly.
So, Joe, speaking of like cosplays, me and Rory were looking at doing some cosplays for like 1 or 2 days for Star Wars celebrations.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got any that you would suggest for us? Considering me and Rory, we're both new to like the whole cosplaying scene. What would you suggest?
There's 2 rules that I've found with cosplay when you're looking to get a cosplay. First of all is how much you're looking to spend. And the second of all is how long can you go without being comfortable? like my Batman one, it feels like I take it you guys have watched Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Can you remember the scene where Elizabeth Swan's having a corset basically pulled,
Yeah.
and it's
in the first,
you remember, exactly. That's what the Batman one's like. It is so tight. I was gonna wear it to the convention that's just happened in Nottingham. But I'm glad I didn't, because the day I went, it was about 22 degrees, and if you're wearing all black, skin tight, right? I felt like Catwoman. It was like latex. I was like, honestly, but it depends. I mean, and it's like, if you're quite happy to just wear what everyone else is going to wear, it's Jedi robes. There's nothing more comfortable. It's comfortable. It's cheap. It's fun. Take a lightsaber, maybe, whatever. That's one. It depends. Would it just be Star Wars you guys are focusing on?
Yeah. So
Okay.
for me, I've already done a little bit of looking,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to go as my favorite Sith. I want to go as Darth Revan.
Okay.
So I've been able to find online a pretty good version of the costume,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the boots and the mask, which I would have to get, from Etsy or something like that, because, it's not something that is just, you can't just buy a Darth Revan mask. Someone has to create it. Me personally, I'm not talented enough to make like a Revan mask like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably would be looking at probably a couple of hundred.
That's not so. Like, not to go off Star Wars, I'll just say it quickly. With Marvel, it's one of the easiest things to cosplay Marvel characters. No, seriously, like it's the Black Panther suit. It's cheap and it's easy. It's literally just like latex with a couple of things on it and then just a mask. Spider-Man. It's one of the cheapest and easiest cosplays to have. But with Star Wars, like, I'm not trying to like dog all over Marvel because I love Marvel, but definitely the costume designs in Star Wars were a lot more like thought into. Yeah, exactly. Like Vader's console piece alone will set people back like $1,000 if you want to go full like movie accurate. It depends how far you want to go. I mean, half my Mandalorian cosplay isn't screen accurate, but I like it. It's for the crack. Like Batman is screen accurate, but there's a massive price difference between the two. You know what I mean?
So, without being too nosy, how much would you say roughly you spent on the Mandalorian cosplay?
So I'm trying to think. So I think it's about 200 to 300 for the armor because it had to be 3D printed. That came with the pistol, the rifle, the grenades that go onto the side satchel. The only things I brought separately was the boots, which were like £30. I've got to buy a flak jacket, which is the bit that's underneath like the chest plate actually sticks to. That's going to be about 100. And then I've got to buy the belt, so roughly around 500, 600 plus then £100 mannequin. Obviously, that's not classed as part of this cosplay, but that's just that's like what you've got to. That's what you got to buy. So probably say 500-600 if you wanted to do. Depending on how crazy you wanted to go. Like I've seen people make ones, very basic ones, and then you're spending like £100, £200. It depends because because there is a difference between these two, between cosplaying and fancy dress. If you guys just wanted to go because you wanted to look pretty cool, but you wasn't bothered about doing it again, then just just buy something cheap and happy. But if you're like, wow, this is something that I actually want to get into, it's content that I want to make, and I want to go to shows in cosplay, definitely invest a bit more. But cosplay is one of them, if you dip your toe in and you don't spend a good amount of money the first time around, I don't think it's one of them things that you'd have an interest in again. Say if you brought Jedi robes and they were made and it was horrible, like it felt horrible, you was uncomfortable the whole time, your experience from cosplaying is going to be, yeah, I didn't like that. Whereas if you spend a bit more, you're going to enjoy it more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it again, I wouldn't be too bothered about the boots. The main part for me about any cosplay is if anything's on your head, that needs to be the thing you spend money on. Because it's the vocal point of your Vader, all this console piece and everything. 90% of his body is covered in a black cape, but like people still do like the back padding. Same with the Mandalorian. There's like all this stuff, like details to be screen accurate on the back. You never see it. He has a cape. I don't, you know what I mean? So again, for me personally, Revan's a really good one. But just don't worry about the boots too much. Who looks at your feet? You know what I mean? But they'll be looking at that. If they see a Revan, they'll be looking at that helmet 100%.
I think, definitely with the hood up and the mask, that's that's going to be the focal point. But I think I need to get some boots instead of some Crocs. I don't think.
Maybe just go like to Asda or something. Just buy some cheap black boots or whatever color they are. You know what I mean? Like it's not the end of the world type thing. Just do what you're comfortable in. But again, it's down to personal preference, and you got to take in like people's body and heights and everything's different. Like I was saying earlier, I'd love to be a Jawa, but I'd probably be the tallest Jawa you've ever seen. Like if I did it, but it's just something that I really want to do. So I will do it one day, but I won't spend stupid amounts on it because I couldn't wear it to a convention. I'll just do it for a stupid video. I'll probably do it at Halloween. That gives me an idea. I'll just like turn all the lights off in here, make the eyes just glow, and then like turn the light on, and I'll just be stood there in my Jawa gear. But yeah, definitely like Sith, very easy to do. Rubies is good for some things, not everything, but for some things they're pretty good for for value for money. So it's not too bad. The only thing I'd avoid and double check when you're buying from Rubies or anywhere like that is there's like the Cyberman helmet behind me. That looks as if it's like a full-on helmet, but it's only half. So like the whole of your back of your head hangs out of it. It's not a full-on replica. So when you're buying helmets, make sure it's a full-on replica because you'll feel like you feel daft because everyone from behind will just see the back of your head. I've seen loads of it. It's like people wore the Darth Vader one, the Black Series Darth Vader. You can take it apart into like 3 subsections. They were wearing it just as the base section, like the neck part and then the mouth bit that makes him sound different.
Yep.
It's a good idea, but if you're not bold and pale and like cuts all over your head and you're trying to go for screen accurate, it isn't going to work.
It might look a little bit silly.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, if you're wanting it to look silly because you're not bothered about cosplay, that's fine. But it's just it's the people that just want to try and go for screen accurate, and then when people are telling them that the stuff isn't screen accurate, they're a bit like, "What?" But take it as you like. But Darth Maul's a good one. There's a lot of like masks you can get for Darth Maul, but it just depends. Like, have you guys ever had latex masks on, because they aren't the most comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a couple on Halloween when I was young as a kid, and running around and being a kid in one of them weren't pleasant. So, imagine a room and a convention on it. I couldn't think of that. I mean, going back to helmets, like my brother bought the Spider-Man, like the Black Series one, and he's like, oh yeah, try it on. I went to try it on because my head's too big. I nearly broke it because the back bit popped out, and I was like, you might want it back because I'm gonna break it.
That's what I mean. Like, you've just got to be careful. But it's completely up to you guys what you'd go for. But my main thing, the main reason why I didn't wear the Batman one to the previous convention is I knew that I was going to be getting photos with a lot of people, and pulling the mask off. It's so tight, like, because it's literally shaped to your face by people from Etsy, as you were saying earlier. And the reason why it's shaped is so when you do that, it doesn't just come off. So you can imagine if you keep trying to take it off in 22 degrees heat.
Yeah, you go.
It's impossible. Yeah, literally just like, and it comes straight back at you. So definitely do. It depends if you guys are looking to get a lot of, because there's no point paying to meet someone and you're in your outfit, because you'd put the picture up on Instagram and just be like, oh, some bloke in a Spider-Man costume has just met like bloody, I don't know,
Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker, and you'll be like, no, but that's me. But they're like, well, I can't see it's you. And after you spent all that money, you're like, yeah, it's not. That's why the Jedi robes, I know they're very basic, but they're comfortable, they're cheap, does the job, and it looks brilliant when you're taking photos with people who have played as Jedis. You know what I mean? Like, you can get them to do like the Force choke, like say Hayden Christensen. You could pretend like get him to do the Force choke, and you can stand next to him and do the same thing. I just think it's the best thing, really.
Probably the simplest as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's cheap as chips, honestly. I think there's robes on Etsy for like 46 quid, and they're made to your exact size and stuff. Because even though I've come away from cosplay at the minute, just because of the space, I always keep like one toe dipped in, like, on like different things. Because I really want, and I've seen someone do it, is the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Like,
That's probably quite a good one to do.
I really want it, like, so bad. But we'll see. We'll see what transpires.
I think.
Speaking of like simple cosplay, like you said about Stranger Things, I went to the London Comic-Con in July, and 90% of the cosplays were Eddie Munson cosplay.
What a character as well, by the way. He was absolutely. I actually rewatched Stranger Things this morning, and then I've started rewatching Breaking Bad as well, because I've just finished Better Call Saul. Yeah, Eddie, what a character! Yeah. What a character! He's brilliant.
But yeah, no, honestly, it was just 90% of the people who were cosplaying were just him, and you're looking around, and everywhere you look, there's him, And I'm sure when you go to Star Wars Celebration, me and Rory just gonna look around and be like, "Oh, look at all the Darth Vaders and Jedi," just like everywhere you go,
trying to think of one that you wouldn't like see anyone else go as, but wouldn't be a pain in like the arse to be, because I've seen people like go as gonk droids, which is brilliant. Like, literally all you do is, like, for smaller people, you just buy 2 tubs, you glue them, you put like a latch on it together, you cut some holes out for your legs, and that's it. Like, you got little eye holes, and you just trying to think if there's anything like in particular.
Maybe that's what you could go as, Rory. Yeah, maybe you could go as a good little gonk.
I was gonna say I'll go as Darth Gonk.
I've got a life-size one outside if you want to borrow it.
That's even better. That saves me money.
It's outside. Yeah, I've had to take him outside because he needs a respray. When I was moving him into here, he caught one of the sides, and like the paint just came off the whole side. And I was just like, oh no. So he's got to be repainted. I still don't know what colours yet. I was going to make a 501st one, which I thought would be pretty. I've never seen a 501st Gonk Droid or any like colour that's even close to a 501st Gonk Droid, and I was just like, that's pretty cool.
White and blue. That'd be nice.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. We'll see. That's the thing about collecting. I after this conversation this evening, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll have another 50 ideas that I want to do. But again, it's just I'm very, very what's the word? Impulsive. If I see something, I'll just get it. There's no like do you know, everyone has that little voice in their head. Like I don't have that. I'll just same with anything. Like there's just throughout life, I find it's the best way to be, because this is going to sound really cringy and I don't mean it to, but I got told this by a friend who watched like this cringy film. It was like a line where it says, "You know, at the day you die, you regret the stuff that you didn't do, rather than the stuff you did do." And that's why you guys need to take full advantage of the platform that you're going to be creating and just enjoy yourself thoroughly. Like if you like talking about Star Wars, talk about Star Wars. If in 6 months' time you're bored of Star Wars and you want to move to Marvel, move to Marvel. Just do what you want, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just in a couple of weeks, it just becomes the Avengers comic chat.
That's the thing. Like, there's nothing worse than when a creator ties themselves down to something. Like, my name's the Star Wars guy, but I post Doctor Who, Marvel, DC, all sorts on there. It's not just Star Wars. I just call myself the Star Wars guys just because that's the name that popped into my head. This is like, so just don't tie yourself down. Like, even if your name's the Five of First Comms, it doesn't mean that you cannot talk about Marvel or anything. But yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye out on things for you guys to wear. I mean, there's a brilliant one that I've seen of this man. He got like these green ears, like Grogu's ears, and painted his face green, and wore like a robe, and he went as Grogu. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And he got like a hamster ball, they're quite biggish balls, and he sprayed it like the silver that this guy's got.
Oh, that's cool.
They're like the knob thing from Mando's shit. Yeah, so I was just like, do you know what? It's like the people that have been doing the Minions one. It's bloody brilliant. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen it with like the. Have you seen it where they've done like the makeup on the little brothers and sisters without them knowing?
Yeah.
And they're just like, yeah, it's brilliant. I love it.
So funny.
That's my humour. It makes me laugh. But no, and you've got to remember as well that if whatever you're wearing, you're going to be out in public.
Yeah.
So just make sure it's not too ridiculous. Like. Because I'm a massive Doctor Who fan. I'm in a lot of like groups that do Dalek stuff, and at the recent Jubilee that's just happened, they actually drove the Daleks down the main street towards Buckingham Palace. Like they actually they got asked to do it because it's just like a thing of everything that's British. You know what I mean? And after that, like the Daleks are absolutely battered. I can't remember the exact road it's called, but can you remember the really long road that goes down to Buckingham Palace and it's got the roundabout?
Like the Royal Mile was.
You know that? Yeah, they had the Daleks drive that whole stretch. Do you know afterwards the pictures? They were battered. The wood was chipped and all that stuff. Like, so you got to remember that whatever you're wearing, you're going to be out in public. If you've got something that if you barge something's going to fall off and break. Just be careful. Like with Revan, you're pretty much covered. It's just robe.
I think it's just like a robe, a mask, obviously the lightsaber, but then obviously the costume that I've been looking at comes with like the leather chest design on the robe anyway. So, like I said, it's basically just the mask and the boots I've got to sort out. I think we should do our Troopers of the Week.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, let's go. So, Joe, do you want to go first?
Yeah, of course. So my trooper is a TikTok creator called It's Brixton. The reason why I've selected him, the Lego people will know this. He started a movement called Block the Brick. And what it was is Lego have decided to increase their prices by ridiculous amounts for no apparent reason. And he started this whole movement, and I've been fully behind him, as a lot of TikTokers have been. They're basically just exploiting us now. When you're paying almost £400, £500, £600 for bits of plastic, it's ridiculous. If they had a valued reason for the increase in price, it would make sense, but they're already making enough profit on the original prices. This is just purely for it's not inflation. So he's my Trooper of the Week. He got all this Lego community together, did Block the Brick, and he's just an amazing guy. And I'll be putting you two in touch with him after this in the Discord server.
Well, yeah, I mean, I personally, I can get behind him on that in terms of you look at some of the prices. You know, I've talked to Rory about it in the past. I was in the Lego shop getting something, and I was talking to one of the store guys about the Imperial Star Destroyer. And, you know, some woman's just walked in and bought one, in fairness to her. She's just come in, took the box. But the guy who was actually working there was just as surprised as me, because he knew as well, like, the price. He was just like, I can't believe someone just bought this for like £700. You know, I
Exactly.
really wanted to get the new 212 80 tank with Cody and that, but I've stopped myself and I haven't got it because of how much it is. Like, it's ridiculous. So I
Right.
definitely can get behind that guy 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, it's not even they've done it like little bits. It's gone to like a extortion amount, and it's people. You're thinking, well, people are actually taking the time to go and buy the stuff and do the stuff for Lego, and then the fun's gonna get taken out of it because they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I've just spent 500 quid on this when it should be, for example, like 200 quid.
Exactly.
It's just silly. But yeah, definitely get behind him as well. So yeah, let's keep that going. Let's make sure Lego know what they're doing.
Do you want to do yours, Rory?
Yeah, I'll go. Mine's not a content creator or anything. He's one of my followers. His name's Leonardo. He's Italian, and we've got a lot of things in common. And he's been very supportive. He's always been following my page, and he responds. He comments on my things. And when I said I was taking a break, he sent me a nice little message saying hope you're okay and everything. And I think something like that it means the world to me, and he needs a bit of appreciation. So yeah, that's my trip of the week.
That's a very good one. Is he actually in Italy or is he
Yeah,
in somewhere else?
he's in it. He's from Italy, and he's in Italy.
Well, well, you could get him to listen to the podcast, as Italy is not on our current list at the minute.
Exactly. So this week we're gonna get a new
How much
country.
of a trooper is he? You know, if he's so say one of your followers and he's not listening to us, I think there might be room for discussion with this Leonardo.
No, he's fine. He'll listen to it, and I think he's going to Star Wars Celebration as well. So it'll be cool.
So we can have a chat with him.
Yeah, we can have a chat to him, no problem.
Cool. So yeah, a bit like you, for me, for my trooper of the week, he's a guy who follows the podcast. He listens like pretty much every week. He's a big supporter of mental health. You know, we had quite a good chat with him recently because he was going through some stuff, and his name's like Ryan Bullock. He follows us on Twitter. You know, each week he does like a podcast list of people to listen to and follow. You know, he's always putting us out there, loving the show, and again, like you said about being supportive, this guy supports us. And we couldn't ask more from one of our loyal listeners. So for this week, Ryan, you are my trooper of the week.
Some all great choices there, and
Mhm.
and then we're ready for next week's Troop of the Week. But Joe, you've got a ship of the week for us.
Yes, I have. I've got it right next to me right there because I will break it because I am very heavy-handed. It's for those who are listening rather than watching. It is Mando's new ship, the NZ1.
Oh, brilliant!
I've got it in Lego set form right here, and it is one of the best sets I've ever built. I absolutely love it. It's quite affordable. Like, I can't remember the exact price on it, but when I brought it, I even thought then like that's not a bad price at all. With facts about it, I think everyone knows this ship.
Yeah.
Like not this ship,
like,
not this incarnation of the ship, but the ship.
Like, honestly, before you go into like detail, like one of Rory's first ship of the weeks was an N1 starfighter, and then we had someone come on. I think it might have been Joe, or I think it might have been Joseph, and he did about Mando's N1 starfighter. Like, you just have, it's such a popular ship, isn't it?
It's just so good. I mean, like down to the you can't really see it because of the light, so I do apologize. But down to the minute details on this set, building it was brilliant. I've never enjoyed a build so much. And usually, when you have a build with two identical almost engines, it gets very repetitive because you're building the exact same thing twice, but you're mirroring it. Whereas this, you can't really see it, but each side it might look the same, but they've got completely different features all the way around, and it's just brilliant. I mean, it looks so good next to my Grogu figure, like the Lego actual Grogu. It looks so good next to it. It's just a good set, and it's just a good ship. Hands down, probably my favorite ship in the whole of Star Wars. Like, I love the Falcon. I mean, it's a classic, but without trying to be controversial, just because some things are classic, it doesn't make it the best.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like the stories within the ship are brilliant, but looking wise, I think the Razor Crest as well. I think the Razor Crest was lovely, but this ship for me, it's just, and the fact it's just built out of nothing. Like, you know, when they start building it, it's just, and that scene at the end, I recreate it all the time because I'm just a big child. You know, when like Grogu's knocking at the thing, and they just look. It's one of the best things I've seen in Star Wars. It reminds me of Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, with Baby Groot. It gives me that vibe. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's mine, and I don't even need to speak about this because every man and his dog knows about this ship. It's just.
I mean, when I watched the episode and they finished it, I was just like, wow. Okay, I like already. I love the ship just from looking at it. Because, we know what an M1 Starfighter looks like, but Mando's is like custom built. You know, it's like Pimp My Ride Star Wars edition, you know,
It's
and
brilliant.
it just, loved it. Wizard as well.
and it'll be interesting to see it in action in season 3, which I think is coming out in February. Is it?
Yeah,
it definitely sets the tone of the series though, because clearly it's not going to be bounty hunting because there isn't any room for bounties.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, I think, with the leaked trailer as well, that we are going to see a retake of Mandalore, which for me, I will probably like pass out when I see that. Like, honestly, if I see them guys jumping onto Mandalore in like squad carriers, jumping out of the ships with the jetpacks, I'll melt. My heart will melt inside. Like, if we get like a reenactment of like the last couple of episodes of the Clone Wars, you know, when Ahsoka's just absolutely like bossing it on the way down. If we see that, I swear to God, I might actually do a backflip.
We will be watching your channel carefully, and we hope you don't put your back out or something.
Yeah, true. Honestly, it's going to be mental. I hope, and this isn't just bobbing on Boba Fett quickly. I liked Boba Fett, but I just hope that The Mandalorian is nothing like how that show was, and that sounds horrible. And I don't want to see Tatooine.
Yeah.
I've had enough Tatooine to last me a lifetime.
I think it's going to turn up at some point. I don't think it's going to be the main point, but I think it's going to be there. Honestly, it's always there.
I reckon that's the only reason threw the Mandalorian parts into Boba, not just storyline, but just some colour. Like, you could really tell, do you know, like when they were on the platforms, the beautiful deep space colours compared to just seeing sand. I'm not sure about you guys, but when I see sand, I think of being on the beach as a kid. And that's not a bad thing, but when it's oversaturated because you just keep seeing it, it stops that bridge from sci-fi to real life. Which I can't really say much about because I'm a Doctor Who fan. He flies around in a police phone box and he's a time traveller and can spend time in space. He spends an awful lot of time in London. I'm just going to be quiet about that one, but it is true.
I was going to say, I don't think you're a massive Dune fan then.
I actually, people are going to hate me for this. I don't even know what I'm going to say because I'm sure be open to ridicule. I turned it on and I fell asleep. Like,
oh no!
I got to the part where, like, the Emperor had just told, obviously, that I can't remember the names, like, that they'd lost the right to be on that planet now, and then obviously the new faction were taking over. Do you know the guy who plays Poe? I got to that part. I will rewatch it, but I've been watching that much stuff: Breaking Bad, The Boys, Better Call Saul. Everything, like, my mind is spread out at the minute, like watching all these different things. So I watched the new Suicide Squad though the other day, which wasn't. I love the gore. I just love DC's gore. It's brilliant. But
so, talking of TV shows quickly, what is your excitement level / anticipation for Andor?
I am a massive James Bond fan. And I am a massive, massive Rogue One fan, and I think it's going to be them two put into one. I think a spy in Star Wars, it's going to be... I never try and do this because I didn't do it with Obi-Wan Kenobi either. I don't set a expectation level because if it exceeds it or undervalues it, then I'll be annoyed either way, if that makes sense. Like, I don't set a precedent for it. I just take it as it comes. And if it's good, I'll be over the moon because these are the type of things I want Disney to be doing more, these solo projects, because I mean The Mandalorian was a massive, massive success. It's probably saved Star Wars in some capacity, and that was just off a whim. That was just a show about a character no one's heard of, and a little green guy that looks like Yoda. And look at it now; it's literally reinvented Star Wars. Look at these storylines we've had with Luke, and I can't think of another project that would have allowed Luke to turn up in an X-wing and massacre the life out of the troopers to bring Grogu. I think it's just brilliant. But yeah, to answer your question, 100%. What about you guys?
I know Rory's a little bit quiet on this one, so he doesn't have to reply. But me, I'm super excited for it. I loved Rogue One. I loved the dark tone that it sort of brought to Star Wars as a complete change. It wasn't afraid to be quite sort of raw and a bit dark, and it wasn't as clean as the normal films. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing characters with sort of coloured. Checkered and coloured past and what they're doing with the rebellion and all that, So I'm super excited for it. I'm mega excited.
I mean, a first trailer I weren't really, to be honest. I'm gonna ruffle a few feathers here. I weren't really asked about it. I couldn't be. I didn't really excite me. But the second one is made me think, okay, this is gonna be. Obviously, we've seen all the CGI and everything. Looks incredible. Looks obviously. It's not. I don't think. No, it's not even CGI. Most of it. It's like obviously directed on certain areas and stuff. And I'm excited for it now, but I'm just holding back a little bit until see the first couple of episodes.
I think we're gonna have a Rory apology after the first 3 episodes, and Rory's gonna be. I love it. It's amazing. Best thing Star Wars has ever done.
Honestly, this is why I don't say things, because I hate eating humble pie. I hate it. I made the mistake before. Which film was it? No, there was something Star Wars content-wise that was coming out, and I said it's going to be crap, and it wasn't. It was, what was it? I think it was The Force Awakens. I think this wasn't on TikTok or anything. This was just me saying it, and I was like, "Oh, it's going to be crap." But do you know what? I genuinely enjoyed The Force Awakens. I think it was an alright film. I'm not going to go into detail about the rest of them because I'm not trying to be toxic. It's just my opinion. The only downfall for the new films for me was what they did with Luke. That's it. That's the only thing. And I think, some people definitely nitpick more than usual. I mean, if you go back to the originals and nitpick, I found a flaw just because I was trying to make a funny TikTok video. And on TikTok, everyone loved it that I found this mistake in Return of the Jedi. I put it on Facebook, and all the OG fans, I got death threats and everything. So there's I'll just brief over it quickly for you. So when they're in the Ewok village and they're tied up, if you watch R2 really closely, he's in the far corner. Before he gets chopped to come down, where he falls after being released. If you look about 5 seconds before that, he's just stood up. He's not attached to anything. He's just stood there, and he's looking round, and he's moving. And then 2 seconds later, it shows him attached to the board being chopped. And the only reason why I found that thing was because I was doing a TikTok with the Ewok and the R2, and I got a little axe and pretended to whack it with the Ewok, and I was just trying I was remembering what happened in the actual film, and I went back and found it, and I was like, ooh. But yeah, it doesn't take much to ruffle feathers in the Star Wars community, does it?
No,
that's
I mean,
let's be honest.
I mean, the worst.
There's a couple of people probably listening to this now, sort of clenching their fists and gritting their teeth at that comment. They don't like things when people point them out.
No.
I mean, it goes back to basically, for me, obviously, that no matter what we say, Rey is a Skywalker, but I just didn't like the way they did it. I think it was stupid. I think it was silly. But if people think like it that way, that's completely fair enough. I could be really toxic about it, but I don't want to be one of them.
Introducing Jonah to the channel.
Set up a nice debate for you. So, earlier I said it's very hard for you to be controversial. I take that back. I retract that statement. I mean, all you gotta say, put the title of an episode is Rey Skywalker. Boom, million views. You know what I mean?
Maybe that's the title of this episode.
Yeah, dude, that's true. I'll back you up on that one. It's not the fact that they did it; it's the fact that they just nodded their head. Do you know if Luke had said, "You are a Skywalker"? Because there's that now. Everyone's saying, "Well, they didn't say that she was a Skywalker; they just nodded." They could have at least said, "Rey, you are a Skywalker." You know, when the person asked, Luke should have, instead of being over in the distance, he should have been next to her and says, "You are a Skywalker." I know people still don't like it. I wouldn't have even liked it with the way I'm describing it, but it would have been a lot more clarity than just You know what I mean? Like, you can interpret anything from a bloody nod from halfway across the
You could have just said hello.
I mean,
Yeah,
And then she's
anything.
like, I'm a Skywalker, and he's going, whoa!
I'll tell you what, that brings me back to what we said earlier quickly. That's a brilliant cosplay to do, is Kylo Ren.
yeah.
His cosplay is brilliant. And his helmet's not too expensive. I think the helmets are roughly about £119. We got to remember the actual outfit for Kylo isn't expensive at all. It's almost like one piece. And then some really long boots. So that's a really good one because I was looking at doing it myself. And the reason I didn't, I actually got scammed on a helmet, which is what I was saying to you guys earlier about scamming. Like, I got scammed. Luckily, Etsy gave me my money back. But yeah, like 15 people got scammed by this one seller. But yeah, so it's the only reason I didn't do it. But have a look. Kylo's a brilliant one.
I mean, there is a way that you could make a Kylo cosplay even cheaper, and you could go for shirtless Kylo.
Yeah. Buff Kylo.
It's just trousers and boots and a wig.
Exactly. That might be the one.
I mean, going back to the Skywalker thing. I mean, like, it almost looked like one of them British things you do when you walk past someone, you nod at each other. It's almost like, you're right.
Yeah, literally.
You good?
like even going back with your thing, like even at the start of Rise of Skywalker, even if like when Leia was training Rey and Luke appeared and Force Ghost, and they both said you're a Skywalker, that would have
something. Yeah, just some clarity. Like a nod can be interpreted any way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, and then, in fact, I'm not even trying to get into this, like, start cussing it, but that scene where Leia just apparently like flies back into the ship after she's been sucked into space. I'm sorry, I'm not even trying to start arguments at like towards the end, but that is something cinematically that made me grit my teeth. I said, how is she just flown back in after being bloody sucked out into the vacuum of space? You know, I don't care if she can use the Force or anything, but by saying that, if Darth Maul can get chopped in half and fall all that way and survive, then anything's possible.
Yeah, but
now I will say with the Darth Maul thing, as much as it's like, oh my god, he's got cut in half and he survived, I think Clone Wars like saved that character and that story
100%.
by being like he's ended up on like a desert planet with like spider legs and he's gone completely insane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it saved it, and it's like, okay, it works now that you've seen it, but obviously at the time you're like, wait,
Yeah, well, mine was a bit weird actually. So, do you know how I said I fell out of love with Star Wars and stuff?
yeah.
So I didn't watch the solo film. Sorry, I didn't watch the Clone Wars all the way through, but I watched the solo film. So the first time I knew Darth Maul was back was during Solo at the end, and I've gone, how the hell is he alive? And then I've watched Clone Wars, and I was like, what? So it was a really nice order for me because it had the impact for some people when he showed up, but they already knew he was alive. Like, you know, they'd already seen it in Clone Wars and stuff. Whereas for me, it was the first. I was like, whoa. I was like, Darth Maul's back, and and to be fair, Rebels did it such justice. You know, the character towards like where he meets Ezra and stuff. They carried that pitchfork perfectly. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't like Rebels. The only thing I don't like is the toothpick lightsabers. But apart from that, Kanan is one of my favorite Jedi's of all time. But you know, each to their own, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Everyone's got their own personal preference.
Exactly. Like the only reason why I love Kanan so much is not because of his skills or his force or his power. He's a lot easy to relate to. Kanan reminds me of Anakin, but just without the rage and the hate and actually turning. Kanan's a very troubled Jedi. Like you see it throughout the thing that he does struggle with, you know, some of the aspects of it. I mean, when he came up against Darth Vader, he even said to Kanan, he's like, because Ezra was like, what do we do? Blah blah blah. And he was like, "You're lucky we even survived. Like we've just fought Vader. Like, and to hear a Jedi say that is like comforting because it makes them more relatable. They come away then from this Obi-Wan Kenobi fights Grievous and fights Darth Maul. These superheroes, Kanan showing actual fear. Like he's like, yeah, I'm scared. Like I've just come up against Vader and I've just crapped myself. You know what I mean? Whereas it's like, even in Return of the Jedi, Luke, he wasn't scared or anything. Like when he was jumping up around and, you know, making Vader like look around in the dark. But he had a bit more like humility to him, Kanan, to me. personally, but the way I'm not trying to ruin it for anyone who. If you guys watch Rebels before I say something,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
When,
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, spoiler for anyone who hasn't in about 2 seconds. So like, I'll give you a break where they had enough time to turn off. When he died, Jesus Christ, I've never been so sad in my life. Like that scene where he just pushed them back and his eyesight restored for them couple of seconds to look at Hera, I was just like,
Yeah.
my eyes were watering, man. I was like, oh my god. And Chopper, what a legend.
Yeah.
I am begging my friend to make me a life-size version of it, like literally begging, because he's such a good character, so
I
good.
mean, I'm so glad that he's coming back for the Ahsoka series.
Oh,
The introduction of him at the Comic-Con, it was just like, this is Chopper. He just makes loads of foul noises.
I can't wait till
Yeah.
do you know if he ever met C-3PO? Not R2-D2, because R2-D2 and Chopper aren't very dissimilar. They're quite similar, but because C-3PO hates the crudeness that even R2 says, can you imagine?
That would be
it'd be something like,
interesting.
oh my gosh, sir, what are you saying? You know what I mean?
Oh no!
That's what happens when you put a British actor to play C-3PO. How dare you, sir? You know what I mean?
And the thing is, even then, like it gives C-3PO, like they get like the Americans expect that's how we all speak, and when they come back,
yeah, it's a precedent.
and when we come back, when they actually come into England, then they're like, well, they're all not speaking the same. It's just it's a funny thing to think.
100%.
But yeah, how are we doing for time, Rory?
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're up to an hour and 40, so this is probably our longest episode.
This is what happens when you get someone on who's got a big mouth.
Yeah, we love it, man.
Well, I'm definitely not complaining. I'm having a whale of a time over here.
No, same. Like I say, it was obviously I want to come on and entertain the followers and the listeners, but it was also giving you guys some feedback because I've been in the exact same position you guys have been in, and I had people around me supporting me, helping me, shouting me out, stitching my videos, duetting, going live with me. If you don't, and I know people who haven't had that, it's very, very isolating. You feel like you're trying to make a breakthrough in such a big, already oversaturated thing. But yeah, and I just wanted to also, for the people that are listening, just to know that you two aren't just two people that just sit there and just turn the computer on and just talk. There is, again, these guys have gone out in their personal time to message me, to converse with me, to work around my schedule as well as theirs, just to be able to bring content for you guys. It just gives the followers a bit of insight. Like I had to do it before, like a day in the life video. I highly recommend them. They're so good. Like it just gives the followers a bit of depth because I'm explaining to people I'm doing 11-hour shifts and then I'm working weekends and I'm still putting videos out for you. I'm not expecting a bloody pat on the back or calling me king or anything. But when you see a video, just like it and comment just so I know that I'm doing the right thing. You're enjoying the content. If you're not enjoying it, because there isn't a dislike button, use that comment section. Let me know you're not enjoying that content. Because at the end of the day, as much as I like posting just for myself, I don't want to, bore my followers that have been with me for the whole journey because it'd be disloyal to them as well. But yeah, it's just helpful to give some folks some insight to what you guys are planning. And I don't even know all of it. I mean, we've only just spoke about a glimpse of what you've planned for the future, T-shirts and stuff like that. Stepping stones, one thing at a time.
I mean, yeah, like I know you've only seen a glimpse of our planning, but each week, me and Rory normally have a topic in mind, and then we'll discuss, and then me and Rory will be like, right, okay, like for the Jedi and the Sith episode, me and Rory have been like, right, I'll look at 2 Sith, you look at these guys, we'll get notes on these. So we then, in our personal time, are gathering the information to try and make it a topic that you guys are going to want to listen to and enjoy. Like I said, the vintage episode, I had so much fun doing because I was coming home from work and I was watching YouTube videos. I was looking up stuff on the internet on all these different figures, and it became interesting for me to do it, to then put it out there for you guys, and there's a lot. Maybe me and Rory will do like a video or something where we basically show the whole episode process, like from start to finish.
Yeah, honestly, it's brilliant. I mean, I did it when I was building this. Like, I was sat on the roof, like, because I was a carpenter, a joiner, so like I did pretty much most of the woodwork you see in here, and I did the roof, the floor, and everything like that. So when I was actually sat on the roof, putting the roof tiles on, I just made a video, and I just put it on my story. I was like, the things I do just to store Lego, and I'm sat on the roof just recording the view. And then like I did videos where like whenever I hurt myself or anything, and I was just like, this is what I'm doing just to be a nerd basically. Because I mean, it took about 6 months to build because it was a double. But another lesson: hard work pays off. You know, in every aspect. Yep. And if it doesn't feel like it's paid off, it might have paid off in different attributes than what you was originally going for. At the end of the day, if this flops, the whole thing, and in 6 months' time, think of all the knowledge you've learned, like about Star Wars and your passions, and think about the conversations you've had and the people you've met. You know, it's like now, I could wake up tomorrow, my account's been deleted. I wouldn't start again. Like, you can't. Sometimes it's like nostalgia. You can't recreate it. People do. People try and recreate it all the time, but that magic's just gone. If I started again now, it wouldn't be the same. Because even if I meet new people now, they wouldn't have been following me from the start. Because my journey's already started, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't start again. I'd just, take it on the chin, be appreciative for everything I've had, and still be active. But I just wouldn't be posting. It's not even like as a give up thing. It just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, like you said, like if you like you said, 1 minute you can't get banned. Well, you've done what you wanted to do basically. And it sounds silly. Maybe it was your time to stop because someone didn't like your content, or
exactly. Sometimes I'm not a Buddhist or anything, but sometimes you definitely have to like read the signs that are, there will be signs throughout your life, like different things, not just content creation, anything, without sounding spiritual or anything. But it's true. You just have to,
you like work is an example. You might be getting super stressed from work. And that might be the time when you tell yourself, I need something else. I need to fight. I do something else because I cannot live my life every day where I'm coming home stressed. Exactly. It's not fair to you and it's not fair to the people around you.
100%.
But yeah, I don't think we're going to have time for, I guess, a Star Wars character because we've gone on way too much. But, but Joe...
I think we can do one. Come on, let's do one. We've got the guest on. We've got to have one.
Okay.
I'm going to let you do one for Joe then.
Okay.
Shut up.
Let me have a look. Let me look around my room, see if I've got anything interesting to look.
While he's doing that, Joe, are you pretty good at guessing characters? In like quick time...
Well, the proof will be in the pudding, mate. We'll soon find out.
Okay.
I will be in charge of the time. So, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay. Joe, are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Right.
Let's do it.
So, go on and give him the countdown, Rory.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yoda.
Nope. So you can ask like yes or no questions. Even like, is it a Jedi, Sith, or anything?
Oh, okay, cool. Is it a Sith?
No.
Is it a Jedi?
No.
Is it a bounty hunter?
Yes.
Jango Fett?
No.
Cad Bane?
No.
The Mandalorian?
No.
Boba Fett?
Yes.
Hey! 46 seconds. Joe, you've done it.
Mate, that's stressful.
When we first did it, I regret ever doing it because if you get it wrong, and that 30 seconds, and you don't get a chance, even after 30 seconds, you get that one question. And if you can't, if they say no to that, and it's not helped you out one bit, you are totally screwed. You got to play it blind. It is so nerve-wracking.
Me and Rory have changed our concept of it. So we used to do it where it was, we'd have someone and we'd give out facts. So if I had Anakin, I would be like, he was a Jedi. He worked very closely with Obi-Wan. Had a bit of a love interest with someone.
Straight giveaway with it.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But then when we started doing this 30-second countdown, it just becomes so much more stressful because you're like, is it this person? You're like
be fair, though,
trying to think.
It proves how nerdy someone is because after I got to that last Boba, I would have started listing off like characters that aren't mainstream. So then I would have obviously gone into
IG88.
yeah, exactly. Like, and then that's when you know that you're nerdy, like not just your mainstream, like. That's why I thought, I'll read out the biggies because that's the most likely to have in your room. And I know Black Series has just done a lot of stuff with Cad Bane. That's why I was like, Cad Bane, is it Cad Bane or,
when you
Speaking of Cad Bane, quick, I will just say, Dorian Kingy is an absolute legend. I met him at Comic-Con. Such a genuinely nice guy. There wasn't much of a queue for him. I went and saw him, and he took the time to properly talk to me. He was like, when I first appeared on the screen, he was like, could you tell it was me with the hat and the long shot? I was like, absolutely, I could tell it was you. Like,
I think anyone do you know what it is for me? It's the music. It's just like I'm watching John Wayne. You know what I mean? Like it's brilliant.
Just that shot, and for me, it was the hat. Personally, I saw the little hat, and I just was like, Cad Bane.
Yeah, I mean, it took me like 9 minutes to register that it was in fact Cad Bane because I know what Star Wars is like. Like they'll get your hopes up and then they'll be like, oh yeah, it's like Rogue One. If you'd have just asked me that question now, like who do you think the character is? If you'd have rephrased it to what character you think is going to be in Rogue One, it took me a million years to say Vader in a hallway.
Yeah.
And the only thing that annoys me about that scene is the fact the director and writer said originally they were going to have him on the beach storming the base, like he was going to be on the beach storming it, and that would have been amazing, but too much of a good thing sometimes is bad. So maybe if we'd have had him on a 5-6 minute screen time on the beach, it might have lost its dramatic effect. It's like they did it perfect in Obi-Wan, like they kept him coming. He's like a boogeyman. Like, you turn around, he's there. He's turn around, he's gone. Like that's the perfect way for Vader, 100%.
I mean, me personally, I would say seeing him just in that hallway scene, the darkness, the red lightsaber igniting, because as soon as you see that lightsaber, you know what's coming. All those people trapped in that corridor are dead.
I was shocked that they actually did it because I know it's not gory, but it was quite it's dark for Star Wars. But it's the other way that I see it is I'm sure you guys have seen this as well. Do you know people who joke like the Empire did nothing wrong? Have you seen the memes and stuff that go around? See, people forget about this, right? And this is why Andor's going to fit perfectly. Is technically the rebels are rebels, the terrorists in the eyes of the Empire and stuff. They're blowing up buildings. That's what the Empire played on. They said these people you're supporting are blowing up buildings in capital cities and stuff. And it's very, very easy to have a different perspective on the rebels. If we'd have been following the Empire and not known about Order 66 and just from the originals, and we've seen these rebels attacking the Starfleets and killing the TIE fight, it would be very, very easy for a perception change. So I'm really glad they're going to be showing it in Andor because I think it's going to be showing a darker side to the rebels. I think it's going to show what they are. Saw Gerrera, he's not a good guy.
He's an extremist.
He's an extremist, exactly. And I can't wait to see this avenue be looked down. It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah,
to what you said there, I think if we did live in the Star Wars universe, I think most of us would be follow the Imperial, be part of the Empire and be Palpatine's been attempted assassinated, this guy's brought peace and order to our planet, country thing, all of us would probably be I'm going to join the Empire. But
well, you got to remember, to them, Sidious, he got rid of the Separatists and the Jedis all in one fell swoop. He must have looked like a hero. He's almost got killed, disfigured, as you said, an attempt on his life by a Jedi. The Jedis have been killed. The Separatists are dead. To them, it looks like, well, this guy has just took out our two biggest threats in our system. He's took both of them out.
To be fair, would you want to be in that situation with the rebels and the whole way with Vader? I think I'll stick with the Empire, to be honest.
Yeah, there is no. By just saying that, you're not even safe for the Empire working for Vader.
No, that's true.
Look when he came in that scene where he came in and all the the Inquisitors when he just went, "You were warned," and I was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" You know, and I was like, "That is awesome." It's just his voice is like, "You were warned."
But then you can say, and I know this is one of Rory's favorite bits. But you can say you're not even safe if you're the Empire or like a neutral. You know, there was a dad.
Oh yeah, then.
There was a dad, and he got dragged out of his house, choked, and then his son, who was mourning him, had his neck snapped by Vader just for being there, you know. So
Vader
I know
is
Rory is like, that's one of Rory's favourite.
Yeah.
Vader would be like the perfect Snickers advert. Like, you're not who you when you're hungry. Do you know, after like it's just yeah.
If you're listening to Snickers, that's the advert right there.
100%.
But I've had fun in this episode. I mean,
It's been wicked, gents.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on, man. You know, it's been nice just having someone that we can just talk to, just very chilled, very relaxed. You know, but it's still enjoy it at the same time.
Exactly. It's been an absolute pleasure. And like I say, after this, I would definitely be putting you in touch with certain people just to get you established, is the word I think I'd use, within like the community, because the community is absolutely massive. It really is. I mean, I don't even know how many people are in this Discord server. Wait, there, I'll tell you. But while you guys are doing your outro, I'll search for how many folks are in it.
Well, yeah, you know, again, we'll put, you know, obviously we'll put your links in our description, and that just because, you know, we want to make sure people are listening, who listen to us and enjoy us, you know, they get the chance to listen and enjoy and watch your content as well. So, Rory, have you done a For the Republic in a different country? Have you done your notes this week?
Unfortunately,
And what country?
I haven't. It was the throat. I didn't know I was going to be able to talk this well this week, to be honest with you. But I'll do it in English. We ain't done that in a while.
Okay.
But again, I just want to go back to what Will said. Thanks, Joe, for coming and taking the time to come. We do really appreciate it, and we hope to see you in future episodes.
Oh yeah, 100%. You guys ever want a loudmouth input? Just let me know. I'm here. Like I think I'm perfect for podcasts because it's more shutting up than making talk. That is the problem, as every person I've ever met has ever said. You can probably imagine how the teachers were in school when I was there. Rentamouth, I think it was called. But they're back to the Discord quickly. There was 40 people in there, and this is just creators. Like at the minute, we haven't actually opened it up to any view, but it's just for creators, like a safe space. Like Brixton, the Trooper of the Week I mentioned, he is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. He's always putting wellness posts up, like, you know, I've seen the cost of living's gone up. I hope you guys are okay. Just like proper, genuine people. And there's all sorts in there, like any cons, any content idea updates, anything. And honestly, if you can get a couple of them people from this Discord, I'll be inviting you to come on. Trust me, it's very good company that's in the Discord, 100%. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure coming on, gents. I've loved it. And yeah, hopefully we can do it again in the future sometime.
Yeah, definitely, man. We're more than happy to have you on.
100%.
Days.
So from me, may the force be with you guys, and see you next week.
Yep, and from me, For the Republic.
You took all the best ones, so I'm just going to order 66 on you all. See you later, guys.